Welcome back to our coverage. We got two big stories we're covering for you. President Trump is now back in the courtroom today. That gets started just 59 seconds ago, Bill. And Judge Merchan is taking the bench now. There is a gag order hearing that is going to start this off today. The jury is not seated for that. Eric Shawn is down there at the courtroom. Eric, what can we expect today?
Yeah, Dana, we'll have that gag order hearing continuing starting right now. Should take about a half an hour on 4 new violations that prosecutors say the former president is guilty of for violating Judge Merchan's gag order. The former president arrived here just about 10 minutes ago. He attacked the trial. In fact, he called it a show trial.
They know it's not a good case, and now it's turned out to be they've lost they have no case. They have no case. But we have a very conflicted judge, unfortunately, and so you never know. But other than that, there's no case.
After the gag order hearing is over, Beverly Hills lawyer Keith Davidson returns to the stand for more testimony. Davidson represented Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels, and he is the lawyer who negotiated the $280,000 that was paid to both McDougal and Stormy Daniels to hide their alleged affairs with Trump. In court, prosecutor Joshua Steinglass asked Davidson, "Where did you understand the money would be coming from?" Davidson said, quote, "From Donald Trump or some corporate affiliation thereof. It was my understanding that Mr. Trump was the beneficiary of the contract." But from the stand, Davidson never said he spoke to Mr. Trump directly. He only thought the former president was behind the alleged scheme. On cross-examination, Trump lawyer Todd Blanche is expected to drill into the lack of a direct connection between Davidson and Trump. So the gag order hearing now underway. Judge Merchan has already found the president guilty of violating it 9 times. He fined him $9,000. He could fine him $4,000 after today's hearing. We'll see what happens as testimony resumes.
That one is unbelievably epic. Very good UFC integration into the show, Jerry. Very much like that meme. That's a good. Let's re-upload that one. That's one worthy of playing later in the show, maybe for our great guest, who will be Congressman Wesley Hunt, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Today is Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. Prosecutors reveal that they are seeking jail for ex-president for violating the gag order 4 more times. We will see if Donald Trump is locked up in Rikers Island. Today is happening live right now. We have Donald Trump's commentary from the courthouse from seconds ago. Trump mocks Biden in hysterical speeches at massive MAGA rallies with a brand new epic entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, sort of a preview there in the meme. It is so hot right now. And again, as I said, aforementioned, Congressman Wesley Hunt will join the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We have lots of content to cover today. Donald Trump is in the courthouse right now. The judge is deliberating once again over the penalties for Donald Trump for violating his gag order. Donald Trump's been traveling. He was in 2 states yesterday, 2 swing states, Wisconsin and Michigan. Donald Trump back in New York this morning. How the man has this kind of energy. Sometimes I feel like I am depleted going from my house to the studio. It's like, I don't know how Trump does it. I don't know how he does it. How do I do it? We travel a bit for this program. I make sure that I lean on the wellness company for my health. The wellness company makes sure that I am completely secure, whatever little bugs or whatever little infections or whatever little viruses are going around or whatever little pandemics are being manufactured next by the globalists. They got me set. Your emergency kits have an assortment of life-saving medications, a guidebook for safe use. Life-saving medications include antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics, all the stuff they tell you you're not allowed to have. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just believe us forever. Okay, we've taken care of everything's going great, by the way. Okay, trust the experts. The experts are so smart. No, ladies and gentlemen, you should trust the doctors who were right about everything from the get, and they're the ones who created the wellness company. You can order by going to twc.health/Benny. That's twc.health/Benny, and enter the code Benny for 10% off. twc.health/Benny, promo code Benny for 10% off. See site for details. Prescriptions may be required. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are once again sitting at the precipice of Donald Trump potentially being sentenced to jail. Now, the last time Judge Merchan, who is a bona fide Joe Biden donor, his daughter worked for Kamala Harris and raises money to put Donald Trump in jail. What father, even as warped and as messed up as this guy, wouldn't want to give their daughter her dream? Okay, her dream. I got 2 daughters, and I got to tell you, I try my hardest to provide for my daughters, and I guess give them a good life and make their dreams come true. What were their dreams last night? Last night they wanted a cupcake, and they got a cupcake. A little birthday party for my mother. She turned 70 years old, and they had cupcakes. So this is Daddy making his dreams come true. But like sick, warped, degenerate Judge Merchan is going to try and make his daughter's dream come true. Very John the Baptist, very John the Baptist style, right? Bring me the head of John the Baptist on a platter. He's going to put Trump in prison, or he's at least going to try. 2 days ago was the last Trump gag order violation hearing, where he found Trump guilty of violating the gag order 9 times, fined him $1,000, and then said the next time you do this, it's going to be incarceration for you. Incarceratory penalty. And so now we're hearing on 4 more potential gag order violations in this absurd bullshit case, ladies and gentlemen. So what do we have? We have a case that is absolutely designed in order to prevent Donald Trump from campaigning. This case, no matter what the judge finds and what this rigged jury finds, is going to be pretty much the same thing, right? It's going to be, they're probably going to fine Donald Trump. That's what virtually all legal experts say. They're going to fine Donald Trump. But they placed a gag order on Trump in order to try and put him in prison. Okay, they have a really hard time trying to put Donald Trump in prison. Donald Trump gets 1 chance to speak during this court hearing, and that is when he's walking into or out of the court, and there's all these media cameras there in the court. There are not cameras allowed in the court. There are cameras just outside. So Donald Trump spoke outside the court seconds ago. The hearing is ongoing. We'll bring the breaking news whatever the judge decides. If he's going to put Donald Trump in Rikers Island today, Democrats already have a plan to get him assassinated in there by stripping him of Secret Service. We've covered that. Something we won't do, obviously, is speak over Donald Trump or try and yell or talk over him. We'll take his comments, as they come at the front of the court, at the front of the courthouse here. Okay, so Donald Trump just finished speaking. My producer tells me we have Trump's full statement. Here's what Donald Trump said. We're going to cover all the Trump rallies from yesterday. Donald Trump's new epic entrance. So the campaign has ratcheted and ramped up. But here was Donald Trump back in New York from moments ago in the courthouse. Let's go.
So as you know, late last night we got back from Michigan. We went to Wisconsin and Michigan yesterday. We had tremendous rallies, sold out rallies. They were packed, and the enthusiasm's never been better. So that was a great thing, and it was nice to be able to campaign one day without being in this ridiculous show trial, Biden trial, I call it. But it was quite a day yesterday, and many of you were there, and I appreciate your being there. I thought the coverage was very fair. The economy, people are asking me about the economy. It's doing terribly, and interest rates are obviously not going to be able to be reduced prior to the election because inflation is roaring back. Gasoline's way up, other things are way up, and it's roaring back like they are very surprised. I'm not surprised, but they're surprised. I guess they're surprised. That's what they say anyway. So that's on the economy. It looks pretty bleak for interest rates, and I don't think there's any way they can cut them because inflation, remember, is a country buster. When you have inflation, that breaks countries. I mean, literally breaks countries, and we can't take that chance. So we'll see what they do, but it was sort of announced yesterday they can't do much with the interest rates. They'll have to remain very high, and it's very unfortunate. We had low interest rates, they have high interest rates. That's very unfortunate. When you compare my economy to this economy, not even a contest. We had the greatest economy in history, and now we have sort of a lousy economy, but the problem with the economy is the inflation. And anything you made, you more than gave back. We call it a 50% tax. It's a Biden tax. It's called an inflationary tax. And it's about 50%. And that's what it is, whether you like it or not. And it's too bad. We're down at the trial now, getting ready to spend another day in the courthouse, which is bogus trial that every leading authority on law says should never have been brought, that Alvin Bragg didn't want to bring it until the election happened, and then he brought it. You just do know that this case could have been brought 8 years ago. Could have been brought 8 years ago. Instead, they wait and wait and wait. They know it's not a good case, and now it's turned out to be they've lost they have no case. They have no case. But we have a very conflicted judge, unfortunately, and so you never know. But other than that, there's no case, and it should have never been brought. But if it was going to be brought, it should have been brought 8 years ago. You know, we're talking about 2015, 2016. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And they wait till I announce, and then they start their action, and then they wait till prime time, Super Tuesday. It all started, Super Tuesday, the biggest day, which we won every single thing. I mean, Super Tuesday was a big day for me, but that's when it all really came into being. And who starts a case right smack in the middle of somebody's elections? It should be illegal because it's election interference. So we're going to go in right now, and I will comment just quickly on the colleges and universities. It's a shame. I'm so proud of the New York's finest. They're great people, too. I know so many of them. They're incredible. They did a job at Columbia. And likewise in Los Angeles, they did a really good job at UCLA. It was very much embedded. And just so you understand, this is the radical left. This is a movement from the left, not from the right. The right is not your problem. Despite what law enforcement likes to say, the FBI director said that he worries about the right. Now, don't worry about the right. The right's fine. Worry about the left, because this is a movement from the left. These are radical left lunatics. And they got to be stopped now, because it's going to go on, and it's going to get worse and worse. And, you know, they take over countries, okay? And we're not letting them take over the USA. We're not letting the radical left morons take over this country. You can't let that happen. And the law enforcement and the people at DOJ, instead of going after Donald Trump, they ought to look at what's happening in their own offices, because you're loaded up with radical left people that want this country to fail. And we're not going to let this country fail. Thank you very much.
We're not going to let this country fail, Donald Trump says, and then he walks out of the room. We have a tradition on this program where we let Trump speak. We, of course, have started that tradition because Donald Trump's really entertaining and obviously a political figure that commands our attention, but also because there's this really pervasive and sick trend in the media to talk over Donald Trump, to cut away from Donald Trump when he's speaking, to not give Donald Trump any airtime. It's a tactic. The tactic is to not play Trump speeches. And you now rewind the clock back. Were you around 2016? Were you paying attention in 2016? Remember when CNN would literally just cover Trump speeches wall to wall? And they'd let Trump just speak for hours on end on their airwaves? MSNBC would do the same thing. Trump was such a novelty to the political space. They were getting insane ratings out of it and making a fortune out of it. This is why when Donald Trump decides to retire from politics, hopefully after a refreshing and victorious second term, cable news will collapse. You know, they're already collapsing. And it's like incumbent upon shows like ours to prove that we are willing to simply let the man who's on the ticket speak. He is the Republican nominee. He is one of the nominees for the two parties. There's going to be a lot of people running for president. But Donald Trump is 10 points ahead of Joe Biden in some polls. So he's the front runner. He's the nominee. You let the damn guy speak, right? It's so angry. We don't have time to show you every single circumstance. We have dozens of circumstances of corporate media cutting into Trump's commentary and being like, okay, enough of that. I don't want to see that anymore, says Jake Tapper to his control room. Not here, baby. Not in this house. Ladies and gentlemen, the updates from the Trump trial live right now via the Daily Mail. Donald Trump trial updates live. Trump sits with his eyes shut during testy testimony about Cohen. Michael Cohen, a witness recalls Michael Cohen being angered over not getting a White House job. So again, so much of the commentary about Donald Trump and the people that don't like Donald Trump is just petty bitterness. It really does boil down to that. Whether it's Chris Christie, whether it's Bill Barr, it's just petty bitterness. So what is happening now with the hearing about the gag order? Donald Trump faces more contempt fines for violating the gag order hush money trial when he returns to court. Prosecutors are seeking $1,000 fines for 4 of the comments the ex-president attacked. Witnesses, jurors connected to the case. 77-year-old will listen to the testimony from Keith Davidson, a lawyer, representative of both Stormy Daniels and Kerrigan McDougal. He's one of multiple key players expected to be called. The stand advanced prosecutor star witness Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer and personal fixer. We have more on Michael Cohen in just a second. Could Donald Trump be sent to Rikers Island? Now, some of the more brilliant political commentators are saying if Trump goes to jail, here's where he's going.
By politics, they understand that putting Trump in jail, even though Trump obviously doesn't want to spend 5 minutes in jail, even with the Secret Service coming along with him, but putting him in would be a catastrophe for the Democrats, I think, in terms of the politics of the election. It would be such overkill for this ridiculous case that I think it would really redound to their detriment. I think the judge knows that. So I think this is all going to be about how many times can we fine a billionaire $1,000 for transgressing a ridiculous gag order.
The irony is if they send him to Rikers, which for a lot of viewers, if you don't know about this prison, it's horrendous. Right. It's on an island near the airport of LaGuardia, and Trump would see his former accountant there, Alan Weisselberg, who's now in Rikers for the second time at age 76, Andy. So we'll see what the judge decides.
It's Stalinist. It's important to know your history. Joseph Stalin was an illegitimate leader in the Soviet Union, wasn't supposed to gained power against Lenin's wishes, and as soon as he got power, he needed to go ahead and kill off everyone, sometimes politically, metaphorically, but often literally, who stood in his way. It's Stalinistic. And how did he do it? Show trials. He had show trials with rigged juries, rigged judges, who were quite literally ruling with guns to their backs. And this is how Stalin, in his show trials, got rid of all of his political enemies. And this is precisely the tactics that Democrats are using right now against Donald Trump. Jonathan Turley, one of our favorite political commentators on Fox News, really smart guy, commenting on how insane this gag order is and how this gag order is meant to sort of destroy Trump with 1,000 cuts. Here we go.
Well, that's the problem, is there's no real effort by the court to resolve it in any balanced way. You know, this judge, as well as the judge in D.C., basically said, we're not going to take any form of accommodation towards you because you are the leading candidate for the presidency. And the question is why? You know, that's not written, chiseled in stone. Why wouldn't you acknowledge the rather unique circumstances here? You know, this is a prosecutor in New York who waited to bring this case right before an election and then sought to gag the leading candidate from talking about one of his biggest critics, who's on, as you noted, on the air almost every night. Also, he can't talk about this leading prosecutor who came from the Biden administration. Those are issues that go directly to the election. Many people are obviously moving towards Trump because they see the politicalization of the legal system.
This is such an important point. When you have a democracy, which we don't have in this country, Okay? So, first off, this country wasn't a direct democracy ever. It's always been a constitutional republic, but it's certainly not even that now. Now it's more like a controlled oligarchy, and it's depressing. I don't like the black pill people. It's something that we should fight for, to be more towards the actual structures that this country was intended to be. Constitutional republic is where we should go. That should be the goal of where we land. All right. But, ladies and gentlemen, if people are looking at a political system, rewind the okay, let's use a metaphor. Boxing. MMA. All right, let's use the boxing MMA. Well, maybe we'll play the meme again. MMA. If there are two fighters that enter the ring in MMA, okay, or boxing or whatever, you have two fighters, they're facing off with each other, but Dana White comes in and uses duct tape to tie the gloves of one of the fighters behind his back. And he's not allowed to punch. And the other fighter, the lesser fighter, is able to hit as many times as possible. The strong fighter. And more importantly, the bench is able to be cleared, and they're able to take a chair to the guy. Like the trainers for the dumbass fighters, they're able to like jump in the ring and keep hitting him. Everybody would say, I'm never watching UFC again. Dana White has rigged this entire performance. This isn't a fight at all. It's certainly not a fair fight. The guy has his arms tied behind his back. The guy can't defend himself. And it's like 17-on-1. Why did I pay for the ticket? And that is precisely what is happening with Donald Trump right now. Donald Trump's main fighting tactic is to punch back in the field of public opinion. It's an amazing clip. Alex, can you grab the clip out of the short chat with Trump talking about Rosie O'Donnell? Trump going after Rosie O'Donnell from 20 years ago. And you'll see like the Trump tactic is to play to play effectively the court of public opinion in his favor, and he's the master at it. But when Trump's not allowed to speak freely about the people attacking him, it's a rigged fight. It's precisely what has happened here. Trump's lawyer is bringing up that Michael Cohen, the star witness, we'll get to him in just a second, has been talking about getting orange jumpsuit action figures. Oh, interesting. What's all this about? Let's watch.
Blanche really going after Michael Cohen for trashing his former boss during the proceedings, the gag order this morning. Mr. Blanche showed some and talked about some tweets and some postings that Michael Cohen, the expected star witness in this trial, has made over the past several weeks, including on TikTok, including showing a doll of President Trump in an orange jumpsuit, saying that you could send money to his commissary, telling Donald to stop messing with me, saying that you should get your Donald Trump action figure in the orange jumpsuit before it escapes. That caused some giggles and laughing in the overflow room in which people are watching the trial. The basic legal foundation for this is that Mr. Blanche is trying to show that there is no gag order on Michael Cohen and that his client, former President Trump, is within the legal boundaries to attack Cohen and attack others who are attacking him.
So, ladies and gentlemen, an update on the ruling. There is no ruling yet. It's obvious that by the remarks of Judge Merchan, he believes that Trump has at least one violation. Trump's latest batch of violation gag order fell before the judge's latest, most explicit warning about jail. So it's unlikely that Merchan the judge will send Donald Trump to jail today based on the dates and times of the Trump violation of the gag order. As was just demonstrated there by Donald Trump's attorney and by the reporting from inside the courtroom, Michael Cohen, the witnesses for New York, I mean, again, it's the boxing match, the UFC fight. The guy with the gloves tied behind his back. Michael Cohen is able to do, not only just speak publicly, but he's able to make a complete fool of himself on TikTok. Michael Cohen TikTok videos, fundraising, stun legal observers, may have torpedoed case against Trump. It's a major problem for prosecutor Andy McCarthy told Fox News Digital. Michael Cohen is supposed to be a star witness in the New York versus Trump case, might have torpedoed the case by taking the stand, before taking the stand, by ranting about it on TikTok while fundraising, according to legal observers. Major problem for prosecutors, not the problem of Cohen's credibility, because he has none. It's the convicted perjurer and fraudster whose current defense of the fraud convictions that he was telling the truth when he pled guilty, says U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy. ABC News published an article Sunday declaring that Cohen's actions could be a problem, pointing to the fact that Cohen has chimed in on Foreign National Enquirer David Pecker's testimony, regularly railed against Trump, and insisted that the jury isn't bored and can profit when followers shower him with gifts. TikTok allows viewers to donate gifts as they watch users' live streams, which can be converted into money or virtual items, ABC News reported. So he's of course profiting off of this. Here's an example of this grotesque display, ladies and gentlemen.
He's MAGA scared, Donald's scared, and he has every right to be. Let me tell you something. This process, I don't care how tough you think that you are. You're this big, literally this big. When the system comes after you, you are this big, almost as big as Donald's mushroom pack.
Oh, okay, great. It's just a classy guy. Way to hang the entire prosecution on that guy. The guy doing the live TikToks with the rap music and the memes and the emojis all over his face. Way to go. Jonathan Turley on the humiliation, the grotesque humiliation of the star witness here, who's clearly just an embittered fraudster, liar, convicted perjurer, who's just upset that Donald Trump didn't give him his dream job of White House counsel or something like that. Here we go, Turley.
Unfortunately, I don't think the judge has re-examined his order. I think it's poorly written, and I also think it's way too broad. And the inclusion of Michael Cohen in that order is absurd. I mean, you have someone who is making money campaigning against Trump and attacking him on this trial, and the judge is letting him speak, but not for the president to respond.
Here is the ABC News headline on that. Michael Cohen's cashed in on the Trump trial with TikTok live streams,
right.
And it could be a problem. We talked to the ladies last hour about that. Do you see this as a problem, and could that be reversed perhaps by this?
Well, perish the thought that Cohen was not being entirely truthful when he said he'd make no more comments. The fact is that this is an individual who just was recently hit by a judge saying that he's a serial perjurer, that he's gaming the system. This has been the long story of Michael Cohen, which is a story of a legal train wreck. And I was a critic of his when he was still representing Trump. And his practice has always been thuggish, and he's often had a serious problem with telling the truth, whether it's before Congress or to the courts. He's accused of lying on the stand when he took his plea. And then he took the oath again and said, yeah, I lied before when I took the plea. How you could put that individual on the stand and take the oath is going to be really something to watch. If lightning doesn't strike the courthouse, I will be very surprised.
This is Michael Cohen on TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. This is the image of Michael Cohen, the lib's knight in shining armor. Metaphorically, literally. Look at it. Here's your star witness. This is an actual screen grab of the public humiliation ritual that Michael Cohen is going through right now because Trump broke him. We've told you that TDS is a hell of a drug. Did you know it had gotten this bad? This is a man who has admittedly lied before Congress. He admits this. This is the star witness. This is the guy. It all hangs on this guy who's fundraising off the trial. How the hell is that legal? Fundraising off the trial, who is openly admitted to lying before Congress. We have the receipts. Here we go.
I've been convicted on 5 counts of tax evasion.
You stood before multiple congressional committees before today and raised your right hand and swore an oath to be honest. And you lied to those congressional committees. Is that correct?
Previously?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
A reporter for the magazine Vanity Fair has reported that she interviewed you the very next day on February 14th, 2018, about the payment and reimbursement. And she wrote, quote, last February 14th, I interviewed Cohen in his office about the statement he gave the FEC in which he said Trump didn't know about the Stormy payment or reimburse him for it. Do you recall this meeting with the reporter?
I do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So Michael Cohen is a liar. Michael Cohen has said time and time again that he wants Donald Trump in prison. This has happened again and again and again. This is very similar to a hilarious clip that we have from Fulton County, Georgia, where Fannie Willis takes out a ream of paper. The clear-eyed prosecutor takes out the ream of paper and starts waving it around with her dress on backwards and her American.
He put out another
Nathan's hot dog sweating in the corner and says, they're the ones who stole an election. They're the ones who wanted to rig an election, right? It's like, these are not the droids you're looking for. These are not the clear-eyed, clear-minded, judicial, prosecutorial rigor you're looking for. These people are trash. They're garbage. They're broken. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know. I've never met Michael Cohen. I don't know Michael Cohen. I just know that if you're doing this kind of stuff on TikTok, if you're like degrading yourself, you're supposed to be some type of like star witness, star lawyer. You're degrading yourself for money. You're lying. You're saying you need to lock Donald Trump up based on a petty grudge that you have, and saying you need Trump in jail. You're like talking about how Donald Trump, you got to buy Donald Trump action figures in orange jumpsuits. So you're a broken person. That you're a broken man. This is what Donald Trump has said publicly, that he wants Trump in jail. How is it possible that this is in fact the star witness? I don't know. Is there any justice in America? The answer to that is obviously no in this trial. Go.
He put out another post that attacked me. I'll tell you how I would act on it. If I was the judge, I would turn around and I would say, Donald, grab your toothbrush, grab your hair, and report to 500 Pearl Street, the criminal court, because you're spending the night in the tombs downstairs. And you'll spend every day. We'll bring you up for the trial, but afterwards, you're not going back to your triplex. You're going downstairs to the pokey until you learn how to act like a human being. That's what I would do.
Would you let that guy watch your children? Would you let that guy like babysit? Yeah, I got 3 kids. Would you let that guy babysit? Would you let him watch your dog? Maybe if you're Christy, know him. But no normal person would. I mean, these people have had their brains broken. And sort of the beauty of this moment is that we're able to actually see it through social media. We're able to like actually see who they are. We're able to see that. Can we put his knight in shining armor helmet back outside? There you go. There's your star witness right here. There you go. This is your star witness. Okay? There he is. Very nice. Well, hopefully he wears this. Hopefully he wears this to the trial. Maybe he can testify. Maybe he can testify like this and use only Princess Bride quotes. That's what you do. The only Princess Bride. You should testify only using Princess Bride and Braveheart quotes, or maybe quotes from Shrek. This is what I'm going to give me. It's more appropriate. Maybe you're only allowed to use Lord Farquaad quotes in your testimony. We're going to rip Michael Cohen because Donald Trump can't. I know right now Jerry's brain's exploding with like, Jerry, this is your challenge. Let's see if you can get a Shrek meme by the end of the show. Let's see if you can get a Shrek meme passed by the end of the show of Michael Cohen. We're going to have meme challenges on the program from now on. Meme challenges. Donald Trump makes fun of people. And we're going to rip Michael Cohen because Donald Trump can't. He's not allowed to talk about. Not allowed to talk about Stormy Daniels. Not allowed to talk about the judge's family. So we're going to do our best. We've done hours on the judge and his corruption. We've done hours on the BS of this case. It's our job now to like take up the mantle. All right. Now, Donald Trump, we found this remarkable clip. Donald Trump, epic clip. It's almost 20 years old. Donald Trump on David Letterman. He's talking about Rosie O'Donnell. And he says he's had a feud with her, and I don't know exactly what started it. But I want to show you the vintage Donald Trump. Before he ever ran for politics, Donald Trump's been dipping his toe in the political arena for 30 years, okay? But before he ever ran for politics or announced to run for politics, Donald Trump was going at Rosie O'Donnell, and this was how he did it. This is pure savagery, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Donald Trump is created to do. I don't like his style. Okay, but this is what the man does. Here's Trump on Rosie O'Donnell from 20 years ago. David Letterman left gasping.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Tell us how you celebrated your New Year's Eve. What did you do?
Well, pretty much I went on various television shows and bashed Rosie O'Donnell.
There you go. Believe it or not, that's what exactly started that? It had to do with the Miss USA thing, is that right?
Well, it did. She didn't want to have a nice young woman who had a little bit of a problem with drinking and other things to have a second chance, and she got on her show and went absolutely crazy. And I heard about it. Actually, Melania called me and said, you know, you wouldn't believe what she just said, and I attacked her. You don't attack people, do you?
I mean, I would.
Seldom.
Yeah. And then have you talking to Rosie? Did you pick up the phone? Did she call you? Oh, you were going to sue her.
I've known Rosie for a long time. You know, I've always felt to myself, I've always felt she's a degenerate. She shouldn't. But I really understand. I really understand her. I've known her.
You can't just say she's a degenerate.
Oh, really? Just watch her.
You can't say that.
Did you ever watch her act?
Yeah, I like her. I think she's funny and smart. Here's the point.
I heard she doesn't like you.
Well, that's a pretty long line.
So that's Donald Trump's style. Again. Whoa, oh, wow, he's so mean. This has been Donald Trump. Have you followed this guy? He's been famous for 50 years. He's more famous than Elvis. Bigger than the Beatles. He's the biggest celebrity on Earth. Okay? He's the biggest living man celebrity on Earth. Period. All right? You haven't followed this guy's... Okay, fine. But this is how he deals with people. Rosie, she's a degenerate. Didn't like her. Didn't like her. She said something mean. Melania came and said, it's something mean. And I said, it's Rosie, isn't it? And then I picked up my phone and I went, bam, bang, gotcha, boom. She's a degenerate. And Dave Letterman's like, you can't call her a degenerate. She's a degenerate. I spent my weekend attacking Rosie O'Donnell. Trump loves it. Trump loves it. Okay, some people call him the mud monster. He's a mud monster. You think you're gonna come at him? You better be ready for a fight. You come for the champ. You better be ready to take a punch. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that Megyn Kelly was ready to take a punch when she began asking Trump questions. She should have watched that clip. Now, we got nothing against Megyn Kelly, okay? We got nothing against Megyn Kelly. All right? I got no beef. But I got to tell you, I was in the room in Cleveland during this moment in American debate history with Donald Trump on stage. Megyn Kelly asking Donald Trump the first question. Nobody's ever asked Donald Trump a question as the GOP presidential candidate on a debate stage. All right, Donald Trump had been running. He was a phenomenon. He was center of the stage. Fox News knew it. And they asked, Megyn Kelly wasn't prepared. She should have watched the David Letterman clip. She wasn't prepared for this. Just to show you that the man doesn't change. All right? We have an entire series called Vintage Trump. The man doesn't change. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Here's Donald Trump. First comment. First thing he ever said at a Republican presidential televised debate. Let's go.
One of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account...
Thank you.
We apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We apparently the clip's a little bit quiet for some reason. We'll bump the audio up and play that clip at full blast. There are people who are defending Donald Trump in the public arena. One of them is our dear friend Wesley Hunt. Wesley Hunt will be joining the show in just a moment, but before Wesley Hunt hops on the show, gotta play you this very short clip of J.D. Vance last night on CNN. CNN never brings on never brings on Republicans. They brought on J.D. Vance to talk about this. J.D. Vance going scorched earth. Many say that J.D. Vance is high up on the list to be a potential vice president for Donald Trump. You can potentially see why, based on this clip. CNN, very rare that these fussy little CNN anchorettes have nothing to say. And this commentary left them speechless. Let's go.
It's pretty unusual for the number 3 person in the Department of Justice to then go to the New York prosecutor's office to bring a bogus case against Donald Trump, and then to have the judge presiding over that case to be a donor to Biden-Harris. I think that's pretty unusual, Caitlin, and really is, aside from your views or anyone else's views about Donald Trump, this is a real threat to Americans' trust in the legal system. If you look at polling, even a lot of folks who are going to vote for Joe Biden think that the lawfare against Donald Trump is bogus. We're destroying faith in the American system of law and order to try to bring down Joe Biden's political opponent. That's a threat to democracy.
Boom. Just a scorched earth, 30 seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want the continuation of that scorched earth, let's move over to the House chamber from the Senate chamber and welcome one of our favorites, Congressman Wesley Hunt from Texas. Congressman, thank you so much for being on the program. Look at the gold chains. Man, well, look at this drip.
Let's go.
Look at this.
They call me 2 chains for a reason. One's for me and one's for my daughter.
Okay. So these are for your children.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful day. We have a bunch of Trump rally clips loaded up. Maybe we can talk through them together. But what you saw yesterday was pretty remarkable. It's something that you've come on the show and talked a lot about with us, which is the energy of Donald Trump to fight. He was in 2 different states yesterday, 2 different swing states. And then he's back at trial this morning, giving effectively a press conference in the trial. The man is unstoppable.
You know, I'm going to see him actually on Saturday at the RNC retreat. And by unstoppable, you have no idea what that means, brother. I've been on his plane with him, flying from Bedminster, New Jersey to Iowa, doing the Iowa State Fair with him, traveling around the country on his behalf. This guy is the Energizer Bunny. He came to my district actually a few months ago, and he did a rally, then he did a cocktail hour, and then he did a meet and greet, and then he did a dinner, and then got on his plane and then flew back home to Mar-a-Lago, all in that same day. He doesn't stop. And I think this is the kind of energy that we need moving forward for the country, because we're looking at the lethargicness of Joe Biden. And you know what? It's time for us to get that energy back. It's time for us to get that pro-America, America first, the guy that's going to get us out of the doldrums and get us back to American greatness. And I'm going to tell you something. It's going to take that kind of energy to overturn what we've seen for the past 4 years.
Yeah, what you're seeing right now with Donald Trump, they're threatening him with prison. They're threatening to strip the Secret Service away from him. They want, obviously, to get Donald Trump assassinated in prison. This is what's going on with Benny Thompson. This is like clearly an act of desperation. Like you don't do this if you're operating from a position of strength. You're a military man.
I am.
These are desperation tactics. No.
Of course they are. This is the canary in the coal mine for what they're saying from a polling standpoint. And every single swing state, President Trump is winning. This is very bad for Joe Biden, especially being an incumbent at this time. But also, it's the timely manner in which they are bringing up these court cases and these issues. It's why now, Benny? Why now? These are all dead, ridiculous cases that obviously should be brought forward, especially for a guy that was a former president, is running for president again and is the Republican nominee for 2024. And then now we're having these conversations right now over cases that were already dead, cases that nobody would have the audacity to bring to the floor. And I think J.D. Vance did an absolutely fantastic job on spelling this out. I don't care how you feel about President Trump. You have to look at this and you have to think to yourself, this is the weaponization of the justice system against a former president. If they can do that to him, they can do that to you. So keep in mind, that's President Trump's number one line that I absolutely love. They're not coming after me. They're coming after you. I'm just standing in their way. No truer words have been spoken.
Donald Trump can't stand in the way. I was able to see in sort of the preview, you were cracking up on only Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And the old vintage clips of Trump attack. This is like the guy's a fighter. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But the guy's a fighter, and he's and this has been his style for a long time. And they're tying his boxing gloves together.
Benny, people have to understand something. Donald Trump is an American icon. My children love Home Alone 2. When I watch Home Alone 2 and Donald Trump pops up, my 5-year-old, Daddy, Donald Trump. That's how long he's been in the recesses of our culture. We know exactly who he is. We watched The Apprentice. We watched him fire people. The reason why he became the president is because Americans wanted that energy. We wanted somebody to say no, to speak the truth, to tell it like it is, to go after our opponents, to go after our adversaries, to put America first, and do it in a doggish way that was unapologetic, and we knew exactly who he was. And that's why he took the world by storm. We did not want any more politicians. We wanted somebody to take the fight to the left and take the fight to those that don't want to put America first. That's it. So for those people that didn't realize that or think this is now a surprise now, we all know you watched The Apprentice, you just forgot. He's always been this way.
So there is some great energy that is happening on the trail right now. Donald Trump, obviously, in Wisconsin and in Michigan. You've campaigned with the president on the road before. I know you were in Iowa. I know you went to some of the earlier caucus states. What is the schedule like to get Donald Trump back out onto the road? It does seem like this trial is perfectly timed to stop him from campaigning right when Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden by more than he's ever led in any poll. This, according to CNN early this weekend, saying that Donald Trump's in a better position than he's ever been politically against any opponent, Hillary or Joe Biden, right now, currently. Seems like a kneecap to stop the campaign.
Of course it is. And they're trying to hamstring him by keeping him in court. And then what does he do? He gets in court. He gets on his plane. By the way, plane's really nice. Benny, it's a really nice plane. He hops on his plane and then still continues to do what he needs to do for the American people to make sure that we get him back in office, and then goes back to court, then gets back on his plane and does it all over again, because he is literally fighting for the very soul of this nation. He is fighting for his children. He is fighting for his grandchildren. And they could try all these tactics all they want, but independents are watching this, and they may not be big fans of President Trump, but they're saying to themselves, this is really fishy. This is really weird. Why are they going to such lengths to stop this guy from campaigning when he is a Republican nominee, when over half the country is going to vote for him, when he got over 70 million legal votes just a few years ago? Why are they doing this right now? And it's because they have Joe Biden. And let me tell you something. The greatest threat to this country right now is a flight of stairs, a teleprompter, and some ice cream. And when you put that up against what independents want for the future, and that's the energy to make sure that we can overturn the disaster that we've seen for the past 4 years, it makes a lot of sense. But you know what, though, Benny? I think it's backfiring, because his numbers are going up in the polls the more time he spends in court. And the reason why is because everyone knows if they can go after him, they can go after us. It's got to stop.
Yeah, so you've always been somebody, Congressman, who's struck me as not 2 Chainz. I've never called you 2 Chainz on the show. Happy to do that from now on. But as somebody who cares about aesthetic, who cares about energy, who reads energy really well, who brings a lot of energy, that's why we love booking you. So I'd like to get your commentary on Donald Trump's brand new entrance to the campaign rally. So he rolled this out last night. A very, very special, something we've never seen before, like shadow entrance with an American flag. It's unbelievably fire, in my opinion. I want to get your live thoughts on it. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be Donald Trump. So this is the music. The music play. So you see the shadow. Trump walks. The shadow walks up, and then he comes out around the flag. Okay. There you go. So this is the new one. The music is copyrighted, so we can't play the music. But there's roaring music behind him.
Oh,
the crowd goes wild. So thoughts on the new Trump entrance? This
guy understands branding. This man understands marketing. He knows exactly what he is doing. Flat out, when I see this, my first thought is this guy is an American badass. Period. look at the flags, look at the fanfare. That's what this country needs. When you look at a guy like that, the strong man in the room, the guy that walks in the room and everybody pays attention, the guy that Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping will look at and they want nothing to do with. When they see that shadow walk into their room, imagine what the world will feel like the day after this man gets elected. This is the kind of energy that we need back. And by the way, if you're looking at this, let's compare this to our current president. Can he do anything like this? He's going to shuffle around in his hokas because he can't even wear dress shoes. So when you're looking at comparing and contrasting what we can have, what we have right now, man, look, we have a very easy choice to make here in November. And when I see energy like this, it's very inspirational to me. And it also kind of reminds me of every time he goes to the UFC fights and he walks out with Kid Rock. And you and I think are kind of a similar vintage. I mean, that's it. That is America. That is what it means to be an American exceptionalism. And when I see stuff like this, I cannot wait to see him on Saturday. I hope he does this when I see him in Mar-a-Lago.
Okay. Yeah. So we actually have a UFC meme for you, sir, since you brought up the UFC. But before we play that, I did want to get like an inside the curtain look, right, of what's going on with Trump. It seems like he's aging in reverse. We see the photos, we see the energy. You actually know the man. You're hanging out with him backstage. What's the strategy moving forward? Where's his where's his head right now?
We want to get through these court cases, number one. I think he is focused on that, beating these cases and making sure that he gets back on the road. Dude, don't worry about his energy. Don't ever worry about him. This guy does not stop. You know, it's really funny. He sent me a text the other day, and because we have a guy, Matt Topolsky, that does an excellent job with our videos and does our social media. He sends me, he's like, "Hey, Wesley, who does your social media?" So I told him who it was, and I said, "And no, you can't have him." So here's a guy that's going through all this stuff in court. The weight of the weight of the world are on his shoulders, and he's like, "Wesley, you have really good videos. I want to hire your guy." That's how he is. He is not built like the rest of us. We have to understand that. And thank God he's not, because only he can withstand all of this and still be in the same mindset and still have the same frame of mind to continue to fight for the American public no matter what, not let this get him down and to keep on moving forward. The energy is unbelievable, man. I can't even begin to describe it to you, Betty.
The best way, we'd love to be best friends with Donald Trump. Yeah. We're not, okay? That's just reality. We know Don and Eric actually really well. But listen, the best that we can do on our humble show is to meme what you just talked about. And that's what we've done. And if you don't mind, sir, if you don't mind, I'd like to play you the what we've come up with and just see if this matches reality, okay? So here's our Trump UFC meme. You summoned it by saying Trump's like the man in the arena, the UFC champion. That's right. So here we go. Bonfire lit, I think, is very important part of this. Sir, you're a professional. You're a member of Congress. You're a very close ally of Donald Trump. You're a close confidant of his. Does that meme match the energy?
Keep in mind, President Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. Of course it matches that energy. And I watched that hair-to-hair fight too. Are you kidding me? I pray he sees this. He's going to love this. I pray he sees this. Of course it matches that energy. And I always tell people this right now. We are living in the attitude era of politics. This is the attitude era of the world. I'm a big Stone Cold, Steve Austin guy, The Rock, Taker, Shawn Michaels, these guys. I'm that era of wrestling. That is what we have right now. We have Xi Jinping, we have Iran, we have Hamas, we have Vladimir Putin. And guess what? We need our own version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's Donald John Trump. And if we don't fight fire with fire, then we will lose. And by the way, everybody doesn't want to sing Kumbaya and hold hands. We need somebody to walk through the octagon, handle a business for America, and get us back to where we belong as the greatest country in the world, brother.
Yes. You can tell us, are you the one who advised The Rock to disavow Joe Biden and to not endorse in 2024? You can tell us.
Did you
tell us, Congressman.
Did you see my comment on X about that? Notice I didn't mention The Rock because I'm very disappointed in The Rock, okay? So how are you the guy? I mean, you're talking about laying the smack of down on people's candy asses. We're talking about the people's elbow. All this good stuff, right? Rock bottom. How are you Dwayne The Rock Johnson and then you support a cupcake like Joe Biden? It's antithetical to your whole entire brand. And then since then, he's trying to remake himself over with The Final Boss. And I got to admit, it's been pretty cool. But the best advice I think he's ever taken is the people that are watching your product right now did not vote for Joe Biden. Do not make that mistake again. Now, I want to see him take one step further. Don't just not support Joe Biden. Please tell us you are going to vote for Donald Trump. Tell us you're a real man and do the right thing.
Yes. That's ending on a high note there, Congressman. Tell us you're a real man.
Can you smell what Wesley Hunt is cooking?
Come on. Dana White, Vince McMahon, everything. Wesley Hunt, he's ready for it. The man in the arena. Godspeed, Congressman. Thank you so much for bringing this kind of energy. It's it's much needed. It's much needed in the current political environment. The smash mouth, big attitude era of politics. That's exactly what it is. We're looking forward to having our champion back. Godspeed. Tell the president hi for us this weekend.
I will. God bless you, man. Thank you for having me on, Benny. Always a pleasure, brother. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Okay, Donald Trump was on the campaign trail yesterday, which is remarkable because he's been in court every single day. He's been stuck in New York, but he went on the campaign trail, 2 big states, Wisconsin and Michigan. And, Donald Trump's meeting with a considerable amount of support on the road. Now, this isn't from either of those. This isn't from either of those rallies. I believe this is from the University of Alabama. But to show you the kind of energy that's meeting Trump on the road, here is this remarkable clip of 2 different sides of the political aisle, both of them chanting FJB. One side's a Trump side, one side's like a pro-Palestinian side. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know if I should say that about these people. Either way, let's just say this: they're not voting for Joe Biden. Here we go. Yes, baby. This is the nation that we live in right now. Now, some of those people, we call them Hamas-holes, they support terrorists. They are mongoloid, orc-like losers. And we obviously don't support them. We actually went out to try and interview some of them when they were here in Tampa, and they surrounded our cameras and wouldn't let us film and screamed us and spit on us and everything like that. Had to go get my rabies shot. We're all good, okay? Doctor gave me the clear. Donald Trump talking about these protests last night at his epic rally, saying effectively, I will remove the encampments. I will not let what they did to us in the summer of 2020 ever happen again. The radical left is the problem in this country. Let's go.
To every college president, I say remove the encampments immediately, vanquish the radicals, and take back our campuses for all of the normal students who want a safe place from which to learn.
Yeah, baby. Donald Trump, of course, going at his political enemies there. The college left-wing lunatics. A protester was in Donald Trump's rally. He pulled out the good old go home to mommy. We loved seeing that again. And then also ripping Joe Biden for saying pause. Now, I'll give you the context here. Joe Biden said pause during a speech, which is Joe Biden reading the stage directions from inside the teleprompter, right? Exit. So you finish your speech. You say exit stage left, or, play you out, or pause, let people start chanting. Here's Joe Biden reading, pause.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years, pause. 4 more years, 4 more years, 4 more years.
The scariest part about all that is that Joe Biden clearly didn't know what was going on. Like you can see him like for 7 seconds after he says pause. He just goes like he does this stare into the middle distance. With a gaping wide open mouth. That's it. So terrifying. What's not terrifying is Donald Trump like ripping him. A new one over all this. Is it hilarious? This is the funniest clip from both of Donald Trump's rallies yesterday. We'll wait for that clip to potentially be loaded. It seems like the clip. Okay, here we go.
But isn't it nice to have a president who doesn't need a teleprompter? Not that he can read it anyway. He can't read it. Now think if I read my teleprompter and I'm going, well, let's see, because of the weakness in the economy, I'd like to apologize. Pause. Pause. What was that? That's unbelievable. Pause. You know, I was watching it. I said, that was weird. They actually don't have pause in my teleprompter, you know. They have a blank space. That's like you see. If there's a response. If there's no response, you just keep going. You don't have pause.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump in peak form yesterday. We do have sort of an audience. You see these videos of Donald Trump on stage. It's amazing. You pull back and you see the size of the audience here. You can see the size of the audience here. This is in Wisconsin. This is like the full audience in Wisconsin. I mean, the size here is really unbelievably remarkable. Let's like zoom around the room. Look at it. I mean, I don't even know what is this, like some type of giant, it's like some type of giant barn. It's crazy. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So awesome. Again, we'd like to play the audio, but the clip is copyrighted. The music is copyrighted, so it always they take down the show if you play copyrighted music. So we won't do that. Something they would love to take our show down for is our Salt That Lib, but they will not get our show down for the Salt That Lib. Salting the lib's not illegal. Salting the lib is actually the kindest thing you can possibly do. The salt, it must flow. The salt must flow. It's a very, very important thing. You must have salt, electrolytes. I drink electrolytes every single morning. We're actually helping the libs by giving them extra salt. This morning, our salty clip from the saltiest of salters, Morning Joe, who's pulling like a new line that we're starting to see. So they all get handed the same talking points, right? Like every single week. They're the masters hand out the same talking points. So we're starting to see the new talking point is Donald Trump will shut down all media. So Donald Trump will take our show off the air. That's the new talking point. All right. So again, this from the people who are cheering on the Government Censorship Bureau run by Nina Jankowicz out of DHS. But Donald Trump's the one who's going to censor all media. This from the administration who worked hand in glove with federal bureaucracies in order to censor speech on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, set up independent fact checkers who've like completely destroyed a free and open internet and the capacity for people to like have open dialogue on the internet. These are the same people. So they deserve our salt, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall salt them. Here's our salty clip. Morning Joe in the morning. Let's go, some salt in the coffee.
System did hold last time. The courts held last time. The state legislatures held last time. But, you know, just like the timepiece yesterday suggested, Donald Trump and people around him are figuring out how to subvert democracy if he doesn't win. And let me say that slowly, so his apologists, who will write this in an op-ed, laughing, oh, they're saying Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump's own words say. They don't suggest. They say he will subvert democracy if he doesn't win. And if he does win, it'll be worse.
Yeah.
He will subvert democracy more. He will fire prosecutors who will not arrest his political opponents. He said it.
He says what he's going to do. What he's going to do, to your point, Joe, is have the FCC report to him, so he will be able to control shows like this. He wants the FTC to report to him. He wants to bring the Insurrection Act back so he can turn military troops on his own people. He wants to weaponize, as you said, the Justice Department to go after his enemies. He wants to put women on a registry in red states for abortion.
Monitor.
That's if he wins.
So, hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a position of strength that these people are in. They are in a position of weakness. This is a position of weakness. They're not strong for doing this. They are weak for doing this. And so it is important to understand that they are desperate also. And so this is the time for all of us to say collectively that we are going to unite and win. I want to play one more clip because I think it's really, really important. I want to replay the clip of the FJB chants, Klein, at the college campuses, because this is what we're this is a world where they are in complete collapse. They've lost control of their left flank. There are more people than ever coming over to our side, and they're losing their grip on power. And they don't know what to do about it other than scaremonger, freak out, like have those kind of meltdown seizures on camera. And it's really a beautiful sight to behold. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden doesn't keep any of his promises except for one. He said he'd unite America. Well, he's done it. We can prove it to you. Again, here are two extreme sides of the political aisle coming together in a single unifying chant. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Put that into your veins and be uplifted. We want you to be uplifted, ladies and gentlemen. Some days we do not have great news to report to you. But, ladies and gentlemen, today, as is every day, we have our verse of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the verse of the day today from Isaiah. I have swept away your offenses like a cloud, your sins like the morning mist. Return to me, for I have redeemed you. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that no matter what the horrific state of this country is, that you understand that there is no distance that we can get away from God where he will not save this place, where he will not make sure that we have a future. That is his promise to us. Will not, if we ask, save this lost nation. Are we as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah? Yes, we are as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, things have gone incorrectly in this country, but we can save it. You must have that hope. You have to have it. If you black pill, if you lose that hope, well, one, you're not going to have any energy to keep fighting. And then two, you're going to be demoralized. This is exactly what they want you to be. You're going to be demoralized. And you're going to just unplug. And you don't want that. And that's also not what God calls us to be. God does not call us to be unplugged, depressed drones. Read about Christianity. It is an uplifting religion. It is a religion of hope. It is something that you should totally, it is a religion of hope and lightheartedness. It is why, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to leave you. We will not have a show tomorrow. We've got a wedding to go to. Producer Robbie's actually getting married. So we are going to go to Producer Robbie's wedding. We're going to leave you with something uplifting. The uplifting thing we shall leave you with is our meme that we had called for earlier in the show. Jerry has apparently created a masterwork. I haven't seen it yet. But apparently it is a masterpiece. And we will leave you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll sign off with our meme, created live on this show for you by our in-house meme maker, Jerry. Here we go. The Shrek meme, Lord Farquaad, Michael Cohen. I haven't seen it. We're going to watch it live together. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Benny. Have a great weekend. Let's do the meme.
Some of you may lose your law license, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make.